Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Downtime with Jacob and Greg. I'm Jacob.
I'm Greg.
And today we are talking about YouTube, how we watch YouTube, who we watch on YouTube, and the state of YouTube as a whole. So stay tuned after the intro to find out how we watch YouTube and all the things that we watch. Once again, thank you for sitting through that intro. We appreciate any time that you have to listen to that.
For sure.
For sure. So today we're going to take a different approach. We had been recently talking about movies and TV shows. Today we're going to talk about internet-based content.
Yeah.
These are people who put things out on the internet. It could be vlogs, different series that they do on their channels, playing video games, different tutorials.
Yeah, tutorials, how-to videos, that kind of thing.
And I think YouTube is just one of the... It's a great site, but also very toxic, and we can talk about that more towards the end. But to start off, Greg, what kind of? Well, let me ask, how do you watch YouTube? Like, what's your routine with it?
You know, YouTube for me is something I used to go to bed. So during the day, I don't really have much time to just sit and like watch TV or anything like that.
Right.
And especially YouTube, I don't have time to watch. But so a couple of things I'll do with YouTube is when I'm going to bed, I'll just throw on a YouTube video because it's short. I know I'm only in bed for a little bit. I don't really want to pay attention to it that much. I don't want that much investment in it. So that's how I'll watch YouTube. But also how I watch YouTube is, you know, when you're in the bathroom, you need something to occupy your time while you're in there.
A particular bowel movement.
A number two.
Yeah.
As the kids call it, number two. Dropping the kids off at the pool, type thing.
Taking a dump.
Yeah.
I mean, let's not get too graphic with it, but...
What about you? How do you watch YouTube?
So, with the whole watching YouTube before going to bed, that is a dangerous game for me to play, honestly, because I will get so invested in it.
Yeah.
Or I will fall asleep and not turn it off, and it'll be...
Just keep playing.
So, on my Xbox, it keeps playing. And then I'll wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, some random YouTube video is just playing. And it's just like, it affects my recommended videos on YouTube, honestly.
That is the worst.
So, I generally watch YouTube. I have never, ever, ever watched it in class. That's for sure.
I legitimately have not.
I've watched it, like, back in high school, I was able to get away with it. But in college, it's like, it depends on what class. Definitely in my major classes, I have to pay attention, or at least try to. But I watch it to pass time, or if I'm doing homework, I'll take a break and watch a couple videos. But that's also a dangerous game, because then if I get invested in it, it's like...
Dude, it's a wormhole sometimes.
Yeah. You just keep on clicking whatever's next.
Yeah.
YouTube to me is like... I don't know. There have been a lot of YouTubers that have helped me through, like, dark places whenever I was in middle school, high school. So I also recognize that it's a place for... kind of a therapeutic time. Help people unwind for some people.
Yeah, for me, especially like the vlogs and back in the day with the pranks. Yeah. It was a way for me to get out of my own life and experience somebody else's for a little bit.
Like watching Roman Atwood and things like that.
Yeah. Did you ever watch Prank versus Prank?
I did.
With Jesse and Gina.
Yeah, Jesse and Gina.
I love those two.
Whenever they broke up, that was tough.
That was rough. We'll get into like to what it meant to us here in a little bit.
But yeah, YouTube can be this dangerous wormhole sometimes. It could also be the greatest thing. You know, there are a lot of inspirational things. You watch TED Talks on YouTube. Yep. Just a whole bunch of things.
Yeah. So you want to get into who our favorite YouTubers are?
Say that again.
So do you want to get into who our favorite YouTubers are?
Yeah, so the way I watch YouTube, I have like a few people I'll watch regularly, and then I'll fall out of watching them. I mentioned Roman Atwood. I used to watch his vlogs all the time.
So who is Roman Atwood? What does Roman Atwood do?
Roman Atwood used to be mainly YouTube prankster. Okay. Back in his early days, he did some skits, but they weren't really that good. I mean...
Yeah, I never got into, like, his skit stuff.
So he started doing pranks, and of course, as we all know, most YouTube pranks are fake.
Right.
So it's another way of acting, and... excuse me. It brings up the question, like, with the whole pranking community, how it kind of like there's still some relevance there, but it kind of fell apart.
Yeah, you can definitely see trends in YouTube.
Yeah. Like, how do you stay relevant after the whole pranking thing? So what he did was he started doing vlogs with his family. And, you know, a lot of people don't like whenever YouTubers include their kids because they think that they're relying on their kids to make content for them. That's not how Roman Atwood works. After his whole prank fame, he just became more entertaining as a person. So he would do vlogs, and in these vlogs he would do crazy stuff. Sometimes he would do pranks. Other times he was out shooting guns and blew stuff up.
Yeah.
So I watched him for the longest time. I actually have one of his brand's hats in me. No, gosh.
What does that mean?
I'm so sorry.
You want to rephrase that a little bit? What do you mean?
I mean, in the room with me is what I meant to say.
Okay.
I'm so sorry.
What is it? Smile More.
Smile More.
That's his company.
That's his company. And you know, he makes money off the brand. He does some brand deals. He does, you know, he makes revenue from views.
Yeah.
And that's the main vlogger I watched. I also watched Casey Neistat whenever he was doing his daily vlogs.
You know, I never liked him. And I think it's because he was so popular so quick that I didn't like him. But he really does have a good cinematic quality to his videos.
Well, that's because he came from the industry.
Right.
So he was a filmmaker. He had an HBO show with
his brother.
With his brother.
Yeah.
And so that's where he really got his style from, was his filmmaking days, and you know, he just moved it to YouTube. And I think what caught my eye was that it was just different.
Yeah, that brings up a good point. Like, there's some people nowadays coming over from the industry into YouTube.
Right.
But there's also what you call like YouTubers who started on YouTube and have continued on YouTube.
And then there are YouTubers who go from YouTube to the industry.
Right, which is very interesting because there was a certain point where it was not credible to be from YouTube.
Yeah.
Like, the industry didn't even look at them. They tried to avoid them at any cost.
Right.
But now it's like they're giving them TV shows and becoming late night hosts.
Yeah, Lily Singh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just wild how YouTube has now been credible, and that these people are actually artists and not just people goofing around.
Yeah.
Well, they are goofing around
Well, I
sometimes.
mean, like, but they're doing it strategically.
Right.
And like, they know what their audience wants. You know, they go through their analytics all the time to really figure out what content that they need to make.
Yeah.
And you know, being on YouTube used to be, you know, it was just a breeze for people. We just had a camera, shot something, put it together, and then that was it.
Right.
But now for a lot of people, it's their business, it's their livelihood. So
Yeah.
they're putting more work into it, making it more have better quality.
Yeah.
Trying to be, unless they're a particular like person, like they're trying to be PC or like not so like where advertisers won't, you know,
Demonetize them, yeah. Which is another point, is like, this is people's livelihood now.
Yeah.
Some people are just full-time YouTubers. They don't have another job that they can fall back on. They're full-time content creators.
Yeah.
So for me, I think that one of the YouTubers I've always looked up to is Shane Dawson.
Yeah.
You know who Shane Dawson is?
I used to watch his skits, and then I used to watch his food videos, and then the Jake Paul documentary series was what like got me into him, like into his work.
Yeah, so he, like you said, he started out with the skits. He had this character called Shanae. Oh my goodness!
Man.
So Shanae is the stereotypical ghetto person.
Yeah.
And Shane Dawson is a male who played a female,
Right.
whose name is Shanae, and he was very skit oriented in his beginning of his career. So he had many different characters like Shanae. And then at a certain point, he wanted to get a little more serious and made content. He made a movie called Not Cool. And he directed it. It was a part of a TV series, so he got funding for it. But that's where he kind of left the skits behind and then became more of a creator.
Yeah.
And then he did that phase where he just did reviews of things.
The review phase was tough.
It was. Like, did you watch the Barbie ones where he would, like, melt Barbie dolls?
Mm-mm.
Oh, my
I would
goodness.
believe it, but I
Yeah.
didn't watch it.
Yeah, he melted Barbie dolls. He would, like, just do random stuff because he needed to put some content out there, and he didn't really find what content he wanted to put out there, but he knew that he had to change with the times because the skit, like we were saying, there's different types of YouTube eras.
I mean, there's also YouTube errors.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But one of them was skit content, like Smosh.
Yeah.
Smosh always did skits, and a few others I can't think of right now. But Shane Dawson and Smosh were the
Rhett and
big.
Link used to do skits as well as their talk show.
Okay, Good Mythical Morning.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nowadays, Good Mythical Morning is.
Is their main like source of like revenue.
Yeah, and they do kind of review stuff and they rank things.
Mm-hmm.
I think they have a series called Will It.
Yeah.
Like Will It.
Like Will It Taco.
Yeah,
Yeah.
where they have different foods and they make it
Sometimes-
into a taco.
Sometimes not even food.
Yeah, they're crazy. But then there's the era of the pranks, which we already mentioned, and nowadays I feel like it's a lot of. There's also the vlog era.
Yeah.
And
And
a
that's
bunch of
still
vloggers.
like relevant because like well it's relevant in the sense of people put that on like another channel and they have a main content channel where they keep up with the trends and do whatever's trending.
Yeah, for sure. And I think just to get back on Shane Dawson, he's now doing the docuseries.
Yeah.
You mentioned the Jake Paul one. He also did one on this thing called TanaCon, which was
It's like the fire festival but for YouTubers.
right. It was just terrible. These people were outside waiting to get into the con, and
Yep.
they got sunburnt, and it was a whole disaster.
But the upside is that they got free condoms.
Did they really?
Yeah, they
I
got
didn't know that.
TanaCon condoms. Or Tana condoms.
Tana condoms.
Yeah.
So he did a series on that, on the aftermath of the whole mess that was TanaCon. And then he also did like a day in the life type thing with Trisha Paytas.
Yeah. I hate her.
Dude, she's crazy. What is her content? Explain it to me.
A bunch of dramatic bull crap.
Yeah.
That just doesn't make any sense. And she is a huge drama queen. I don't know whether to be like, so she had made a video where she came out as transgender. She did.
Really?
You're giving me this weird look. For
I
the
am.
people, because,
People can't see
listening.
us.
Yeah, they can't.
I didn't know this happened.
So she came out with this video saying that she was a transgender female to male.
Really?
And she had the LGBTQ plus community did not welcome that, and the reason is because they thought it was more of like a
publicity stunt.
Well, no, like an attention-seeking video. It's one of her most disliked videos of all time. She was on the H3 podcast where they had talked about, if she's really transgender or not. She said that she just feels like a man, but she's comfortable in her woman's body. And everyone was just like, well, what about body dysmorphia or dysphoria? Which I don't remember which word is the correct word. But, what about that? Because that's a scientific issue with transgender people. They're born, they feel like they're female, but they're in a male's body. Like, and they get that fixed as soon as they can.
Right.
But she is just like in no hurry. She had brought up Caitlyn Jenner, previously Bruce Jenner,
right.
And how Caitlyn didn't transition until she was in her 60s. And that's just because of all of the crap that Caitlyn has been through with the Kardashians and
right.
with her previous life as, the athlete.
Yeah. Now, I will say there are a lot of transgender people out there that do not go through, like, reassignment surgery.
Right.
So maybe that's where she's coming from. I don't know. I haven't heard anything about this.
I don't know. She said that, she's fine with...
Well, so should we be using the pronoun he?
Well, she said that she was fine with she.
Okay.
Because that's what people know her as.
Gotcha.
But I'm sure in the next few years, like, she'll change it and say, like, no, I'm he or whatever. Okay. But I just don't like Trisha Paytas.
Yeah, fair enough. She does a lot of things for attention.
Yeah.
She really does. But the new series that Shane came out with.
The Jeffree Star one.
Jeffree Star. This was really interesting. Like,
Yeah.
I'm a very straight male.
As am I.
Right.
Yeah.
So
But
Shane follows the business of makeup
Yeah.
in this series. And it was really cool to follow the behind the scenes of it, because it's really not talked about that much.
And like it was just so interesting to learn everything. And me being a straight male, I mean, like, of course, like, I'm not going to go out and purposely buy makeup, but that doesn't mean, like, I can't wear makeup. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. No, I definitely found myself wanting to buy his palette just to support him, you know?
Yeah, it's not, and, like, I would probably put some on, but me personally, I don't think I could wear it comfortably for a while. You know?
Like, what kind of makeup would you use? Like, just stuff to clear up your face, or would you go some accent colors?
I would definitely do clear up face.
Yeah.
Because, my face is always a mess. But I don't know. It really changed my perspective of Jeffree Star 1.
Yeah.
I thought Jeffree Star was just this total, like, diva.
Yeah, I thought Jeffree Star was on the same level as Trisha.
Yeah, but, it's interesting to see how we can make these assumptions about people who are just rich,
right?
And like they're popular for all the wrong reasons, and then really get a feel of like who they are with these behind the scenes,
right?
And it's just Jeffree's a workaholic who's passionate about his companies.
Yeah,
and I don't know, it was really interesting to see. Going back to the transition between skits to food reviews or reviews in general to the docuseries, Shane was also going through the tough time of like he was trying to figure out who he was as a person.
Right.
So he came out as bisexual. And that brought a lot of inspiration to him because he had his whole fan base kind of rally behind him.
Yeah.
And of course, he's had controversies in the past.
A lot of controversies.
A lot, and even one that happened earlier this year.
What was that? Was that the cat one?
That was the cat, yeah.
So there was this thing going around on Twitter.
I feel like
they
should look it up. We don't really need to bring it up.
Yeah, we'll leave that to...
Just look up Shane Dawson cat trauma.
Yeah, just drama. Honestly look up all his controversies.
Yeah, and see how he's dealt with it in the past.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's a real inspiration to getting back up on the horse.
Yep. He really has reinvented himself.
Yeah,
throughout the whole time. He's been on YouTube since it started. He was in this group that created this company called Maker Studios. I don't know if you know about this.
Yeah, Shay Carl and Philip DeFranco. And yeah.
So I don't know if he ended up being like one of the CEOs or like co-founders of Maker. I can't remember that, but he was definitely within that, and Maker was then sold to Disney for like $500 million or billion. I can't remember.
No, definitely not billion.
No, I don't think it's worth that much.
No.
But $500 million to Disney, which just gives credibility to YouTube, honestly. But Shane was also exiled by people on YouTube, and YouTube itself did not like Shane until maybe a year and a half ago when he started making these docuseries. Then he was actually taken seriously because he was making really good content. Yeah,
and it's the same with like Philip DeFranco. He had a resurgence in his career because he lived in Asheville for a while, which is near us.
Yeah. So we're based out of Western Carolina University.
Yeah. So in Cullowhee, North Carolina, it's in the middle of nowhere. So Asheville is like a big deal to us.
Yeah.
So Philip DeFranco, he's originally from New York, was in Asheville living with his mom. I think he went to UNCA.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think. No, he went to ECU.
Okay. ECU's on the other side of the state.
Yeah, he went to ECU. And he had been on YouTube for forever, and then he in the last couple of years, he does his daily show, giving like YouTube drama news or just political news or things like that.
Right.
And he's had this big resurgence in his career as well. It's interesting to see how these creators who had started on YouTube when it first came out, or like a year after it came out, had a big jump in their career only recently. And I think it's because of the times that we're in, and people are getting older, and so they're like respecting more, or it's kids who were young whenever YouTube came out, like me, right?
Yeah, like us, yeah.
And then recognizing who they want to watch, and just following them.
Yeah, I think it's also interesting because we grew up watching these people. Maybe not necessarily like watching, but we knew of these people like Shane and Philip DeFranco. And then they had to reinvent themselves into something that we want to watch as adults. Like I personally don't want to watch skits anymore. I want to watch something that will teach me something. Yeah. And that's definitely what Shane's doing with the series, and Philip with his news updates. Yeah. Yeah. So what other content creators do you watch?
So going to the whole like entertainment side of YouTube, we talked about Shane Dawson. I also watched the Try Guys. Okay. Who originally came from BuzzFeed, right? And then they all left.
Do you know the backstory behind BuzzFeed?
That BuzzFeed sucks. I mean,
well, BuzzFeed was a company that started out in the news, like in news stuff. Yeah. And then they found what the trends were. So then they started making content based on the trends that they found in YouTube. Yeah. So basically, they're a company just to get money. Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, which is why I personally don't like BuzzFeed. I'll watch their videos every once in a while because they have like Australians try American food snacks or something like that.
Try Guys separated from BuzzFeed feels a lot better. Mm-hmm. And it's like
because they own their content. Yeah. Because before BuzzFeed owned the rights to the content. Yeah. And then they separated and made their own thing, their own company.
So that's like in terms of like YouTube-based content creators for entertainment purposes. Try Guys is probably my main one. Also, Dude Perfect, I like them.
Dude Perfect's good. They're the ones that do like the trick shots and stuff like that, right?
Yeah. People, I always worry that people kind of give Dude Perfect a bad rap because they're they're Christians and like.
I didn't even know that.
They talk they talk about it a lot. Like if you dive deep into the Dude Perfect guys, like they talk about that a lot. Yeah. And it's a lot of people find difficulty in separating creators from their personal lives because they feel like that they know these creators because they see them just right in front of their face.
Isn't that interesting that like we'll watch YouTube and feel like we know this person? Yeah. But in all honesty, they're only showing us what they want to show us. Yeah. So, and then if they don't know who we are, which is crazy to me, like
they're putting their life out on this platform for millions of strangers.
Right. That's strange. I wasn't going to bring this up before, but my parents are actually YouTubers. I know you don't know this. So
I don't.
So they're in this niche about cruising. Their channel is called La Lido Loca, a play off of La Vida Loca, the song. But Lido is like the deck on a cruise ship. Okay. So they mixed the two names and came up with that. But they have around like 40,000 subscribers, which is very small in comparison on YouTube.
But for people who want that content, I'm sure that's a large following.
Yeah, for that niche, it's pretty big. And my parents are at the point where they're going to move to Florida to be able to be next to the ports for cruising because they make money on YouTube. So they're making this whole transition to being full-time YouTubers, and my mom's a travel agent now, just to get more. Isn't that crazy? My parents are in their 40s, almost 50, and they're joining YouTube because, one, it's a way for them to be able to interact with each other because they've done years of the whole 9-to-5 job thing, and they're kind of they're over it. Yeah. But YouTube has given them a way of being able to hang out with each other and make some cool content. And they really do have like followers and stuff, and people find them on cruise ships, and they like fanboy and girl over them. And they have like bracelets. I'm wearing it right now. It says #LocaFam.
Oh my God.
They also have this saying, see you on the Lido. That's like how they sign out their things. But yeah, my parents are YouTubers.
So they have their own brand. Yeah. Like they are branded full-on YouTubers.
Yep, they really are.
I could never imagine my dad or even any of my like parents ever doing that.
Yeah, when they first started, it was very weird. I was like, oh, this isn't going to turn into anything. This is fine. It's just a little niche that they're doing right now. Yeah. But they love it, man. It's crazy.
Yeah. So it brings up a good point of, there are genres on YouTube that people are looking at, like, certain influencers or different things. So, like, for example, people are interested in cruising on cruise ships. They probably watch your parents' videos.
Yeah, they've got tips like top 10 things to bring on a cruise ship. And it's kind of like educational, but at the same time, they also show their vacations in some episodes.
Right. It brings up a good point. Like, how do genres defy YouTube? And I think I'm going to answer my own question here for a second.
Yeah, go for it.
It's like genres aren't the main point of YouTube. The main point of YouTube is for an individual or a group of individuals to make a video or, do whatever they want to within the guidelines, of course, but do whatever they want to and share it with the world.
Yeah.
And it's I have a YouTube channel where I had tried doing some vlogs, and then I recorded a school trip and put it all together in this 46-minute video, which is terrible to watch, and I would like to go through and re-edit.
What's your YouTube channel? Give a shout out.
It's just Jacob Carr on YouTube. I don't have a name. You just have to try and figure out which one's me. So good luck with that. I will say that there's a YouTube video called The Tennessee Trip. That's your only hint.
Okay.
But it was like, YouTubing to me is like, I don't know. I go on there, like, for example, I wrote down some genres that I had watched. DIY, if there's like a craft that I want to try, or like I've seen people build custom desks or do different things with their desk organization.
Yeah, there's also in the DIY. There's also a subgenre of people building like mystery houses. Maybe not mystery, but like secret rooms type stuff.
I have seen that.
Yeah, I love watching those. I definitely want a secret room in my house now, like with a bookshelf door and stuff like that. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I wrote down there, like, people are on there for watching people play video games.
Yep. That's a huge one with PewDiePie. He's the number one on YouTube. And he started out with just playing video games. People love watching that.
His first game that he played was Minecraft, I believe.
Was it? I thought he never played Minecraft until recently.
He did early into his career. And then with Minecraft making a resurgence here in the last year, it's been, people wanted every big YouTuber to play it, and they did.
Yeah.
Because they were listening to their fans, because they're, they want to make money, and also they enjoy their jobs.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest, I disliked PewDiePie because I thought he was just very childish, but I definitely started watching him when he did the new Minecraft stuff.
Yeah, so he used to be super childish, and like he did Fridays with PewDiePie and things like that.
PewDiePie!
Friday with PewDiePie! That's what he would do. And then he recently, because of his controversies, because he's had controversies too, he said the N-word while playing a game. I feel like it was not intentionally to be hurtful. It was just something that he just it came out of him. It's not right, of course, but it's this whole, he used to be childish, but now he's more mature, and he can still have fun.
Right.
And then there's also, people watch videos to learn different things about computers, like Linus Tech Tips, that YouTube channel. They make their living off of reviewing graphics cards, computer components, things like that.
That's a big one too, reviewing stuff.
Yeah.
Or unboxings.
Yeah. So people take unboxings and review products that you can buy. They do Amazon return boxes. Have you seen those?
Yeah, it's like a mystery box that gets shipped to them.
And then they try to make profit off of that if it's usable.
Yeah.
And then there are inspirational, uplifting, or things that you can learn. Like, there's a YouTube creator I watch. His name is Matt Diavella.
Okay.
And he's a minimalist. You know what a minimalist is?
Yeah, you basically live off of just very little things.
Right, or like it's different for every person. So like he lives it like he has a certain outfit he wears every day. He bought multiple the same color shirts, same pants, and then he just he has his one favorite mug that he uses all the time and things like that. Yeah. But he does spend a lot of money on his equipment because he's a filmmaker. Okay. So it's kind of like a cherry picking minimalist is what I would say, but that's how he lives it. Right. And I watch his videos because he's just very educated, very I enjoy the content he makes because it gives me hyped basically.
For sure.
But yeah, it's just YouTube is crazy.
Yeah, it's a great platform. Anybody can start it up. Like my parents, they started it up.
Yeah.
It's a great way if you want to be creative. Just start putting some stuff out there. You never know what's going to happen with it.
Yeah, and I feel like you may have an unintentional stroke of luck on one video.
Yeah.
There's a YouTuber I watched. His name was McJuggernuggets. Do you know who this is?
I don't know who this is.
So, have you ever seen the video of the kid whose dad shredded his video games with a lawnmower? You haven't seen that video?
No, I haven't.
So that video has almost, I think, 30 million views now.
All right.
So it's called Psycho Dad Shreds Video Games.
Okay.
And McJuggernuggets set up this whole series of...
What a name.
Yeah.
What a name.
He got it playing Xbox one day. And he set up this whole series of his dad is a psycho, and he ruins his life. And he played his life as that character. Like, it was same name, same everything, same house and everything. Yep. But it was just a fictionalized version of his life. He did that for 2 years.
Wow.
And every day posted a video. Some day it was 2 videos a day for like 6 months, the last 6 months of it. And it was just, full of drama, full of comedy, like just a bunch of antics that was just wild. And he called it the Psycho series, and then like it became immensely popular because of the destructions, because people like seeing like expensive crap get destroyed.
Right. They like the hydraulic press videos and the hot knife thing. Yeah, those are all trends on YouTube.
Like this felt like more real life antics because of how it was filmed.
Yeah.
And he would do some on live streams on Twitch, and like it would start the destruction that would cut off on Twitch, so that way he was trying to convince people it was real life. It's one of those things of like, you can find this great entertainment on YouTube, and it's free. Yeah, like it's totally free.
That's the other thing. It's free. Like you really could just watch it. Of course, you have to watch ads sometimes.
If you don't have an ad blocker installed like I do.
I don't have that.
And I feel bad sometimes because when I watch YouTube on my Xbox, ads play, and I'm like, I'm making up for it. But
yeah, fair enough.
On my computer, I don't have ads going.
Yeah.
So, do we want to talk about real quick how we think YouTube is going to change within the next, say, 10 years?
I really just feel it's going to adapt to whatever the trends are at the time. Yeah. Like we've seen with many of the YouTubers that have stayed on the platform for a while, they'll evolve into what the audience wants. And I don't necessarily know what the audience is going to want in 10 years, but I definitely think it's going to keep trending into the like very good quality content rather than the Joe Schmo over here just filming a skit or something like that.
Yeah, I would agree, most definitely. I think, YouTube is just going to evolve to whatever people want, like you said, and we're going to lose creators. People will quit YouTube and go get a quote-unquote real job. Yeah. And then we'll get a bunch of creative new creators and see what life gives us. Yeah, pretty much.
I'm excited to see what's next.
Yeah, except I'm going to be almost 30 in 10 years, so I'm not excited to be watching YouTube then unless
Do you think you'll still be watching YouTube?
I mean, probably, but for different things. Probably for like news or how to fix a drain pipe or whatever.
Yeah. Something like that.
Because I'll be old.
Something adulty.
Yeah, something that's more adult, that's reasonable on YouTube.
Yeah, for sure.
So thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed it, and stay tuned for the next one.
We'll see you.
Bye.